What if, from one day to the next, you lost everything? Your possessions, your health, your family, and yet, you are still called righteous by God. This is the story of Job. It's one of the deepest, most painful, and most powerful stories in the Bible. So, who was this man? Job. He was a person of integrity, upright and God-fearing. He was known for his kindness, always caring for the poor and helping those in need. He lived an honorable life, respected by everyone. On top of that, he was incredibly wealthy, with vast possessions and a large, happy family. In the eyes of the world, Job had it all, but in God's eyes, he had something even greater: true, unshakable faith. Then came the test. One day, a conversation happens in the heavenly realms. Satan challenges God, basically asking, "Does Job fear you for who you are, or only for what you give him?" It's a heavy question, and God, knowing Job's heart, allows him to be tested. Not because Job was weak, but precisely because his faith was so strong. In a shockingly short amount of time, tragedy strikes. Job loses his livestock, his servants, and even his children. Everything he had built vanishes in an instant. Yet, in the face of this unimaginable loss, Job declares something extraordinary: "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." But the test wasn't over. The suffering intensified. Job is struck with a terrible disease. His body becomes covered in painful sores, and his agony is constant. Broken and exhausted, he sits in ashes, a symbol of his mourning and despair. The pain is so overwhelming that even his wife, seeing his misery, tells him, "Curse God and die." But Job's response is profound. He says, "Shall we accept good from God, and not trouble?" Even in the depths of his pain, Job refuses to abandon his faith. As if the physical torment wasn't enough, 3 of his friends come to visit. At first, they just sit with him in silence, sharing his grief. And honestly, that was probably their best moment, but then they start to talk. They begin to accuse him, saying things like, "You must have sinned for this to happen. This is your punishment. God would never let this happen to a righteous man." So now, Job is suffering not only physically, but also emotionally. He's dealing with misunderstanding, false accusations, and worst of all, what feels like God's complete silence. He cries out, he questions why, he laments the day he was born. But through all the pain and confusion, he never stops speaking to God. He keeps the conversation going, even when he gets no reply. And then, when everything seems utterly meaningless, God finally speaks. But he doesn't give Job a simple list of reasons for his suffering. Instead, God reveals his own greatness, his immense power, and his infinite wisdom. He shows Job the vastness of creation, asking him questions about the cosmos, the weather, and the animal kingdom, things far beyond human understanding. Through this powerful display, Job realizes something profound. God is still God, sovereign and good, even when our circumstances make no sense. Humbled, Job has a breakthrough. He tells God, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." He moves from just knowing about God to truly knowing God in a deep, personal way. After this, God restores Job. He gives him twice as much as he had before. New family, new wealth, a renewed life. His story is completely transformed. But the greatest miracle wasn't the restored fortune. It was the faith that held on, that was refined and proven genuine in the midst of the fire. The story of Job teaches us that faith isn't just about trusting God when life is good and everything is going our way. True faith is about continuing to believe when everything falls apart. It's about holding on even when God seems silent. Because He is still present, He is still in control. And just like Job, you can walk through your own seasons of pain and come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and closer to God than ever before. Thanks for watching.